Part 10. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 91. Chapter 91. With the face of a Yandere villain. Yang Zizi was really bored in being locked up. For a while, Pa Lunchenchi acted coquettishly and asked him to take her out to play for a while. For a while, he refused coldly. Lunchenchi, do you not love me anymore? Yang Zizi asked angrily with his hands on his hips. I love you so much that I keep you tied to me all the time, Lunchenchi said helplessly. He didn't want them to be free to go wherever they wanted. However, Yang Zizi's identity was no longer the same as before. Normally, since he and his brothers approached her, the smell of her body became more and more obvious. Then let's go out and play, she lay on his back. Be good, wait a little longer, we can go out when Guiziogu and the others come back. Humph, Yang Zizi curled his lips. No matter how hard he tried, Lunchenchi would never let him out. Hey, it was so boring. Looking at Lunchenchi, Yang Zizi moved the company's work to his home. While Lunchenchi and his brothers were not paying attention, Yang Zizi used his ingenuity to escape from the villa. Yang Zizi clapped her hands proudly. Humph, you want to trap me, you have a good idea, milk tea, here I come. Since she can't go out anymore, Yang Zizi hasn't had milk tea, hot pot, and many delicacies for several days. She has said goodbye to her. Today, he has to eat and drink outside before going back. As for whether he wants to bring some for your foodie brothers, it all depends on their mood. Yang Zizi visited the snack street, then the milk tea shop, then the dessert shop, and also visited a clothing store and jewelry store. It was tiring to carry so many big and small bags. If I had known better, I would have brought my brothers with me. She came, but she was afraid that they would be as stubborn as Lunchenchi and wouldn't let her go out. Yang Zizi suddenly saw a long queue in front of a store. He wanted to go up and see what delicacy made so many people queue up for such a long time, but there were too many people and too crowded, so he couldn't see it. Anyway, now that I'm tired of shopping, let's take a look at what delicious food this store sells while queuing up. Looking at such a long queue, it must have been a long time before it was her turn. Yang Zizi saw the department store next door. She used her smart physique and immediately ran to buy a small bench and put it in the queue to feel comfortable. Sit down. Everyone's eyes were looking at her. He doesn't care, happiness is the most important thing. She began to take out the delicious food she bought and began to eat it. Passers-by could not help but swallow their saliva after seeing it. Whose kid is this? He knows how to enjoy himself. As Yang Zizi ate, she felt something was wrong in front of her. She looked up and saw three people. The one in the middle was very eye-catching. He had the face of a Yandere villain in a novel. He was evil and handsome at the same time. People have to love him, but he is still not 1% as good as his uncle. The people standing on both sides were of ordinary appearance, with fair and tender fair faces, but they seemed to be embarrassed. They were looking straight at Yang Zizi with their mouths wide open and their eyes looking straight at Yang Zizi, seemingly unaware of the drool flowing from their mouths. Yang Zizi protected his food, pouted, and turned around to prevent them from seeing it. As soon as she turned around, the two drooling pretty faces suddenly stood in front of him, with the same expressions as before. Yang Zizi was shocked. It had been a long time since he had eaten. Looking at his clothes, he was wearing fine fabrics and fashionable clothes. He didn't look like a child from a poor family. Could it be that he is a fool? Thinking of this, Yang Zizi couldn't help but look at the two of them sympathetically, smiled, and generously took out a small octopus ball and tore it in half, giving each of them half. The pretty boy happily stuffed it into his mouth and swallowed it directly. It seems that his guess was right. There is no doubt that they are two fools. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 92. Chapter 92 What are you staring at? The eyes of the two little fools suddenly became frightened. Yang Zizi followed the sight of the two fools and saw the young man with the face of a Yandere villain. They are together, so he must be a fool too. Zhen Zhen Zhen, Yang Zizi shook his head, feeling very sympathetic to them. Then for the sake of this guy's good looks, let's give him a whole octopus ball. Just when Yang Zizi was about to hand the octopus to the boy suddenly flashed in front of her like a gust of wind and grabbed his neck. What was your expression just now? He seemed very angry. Yang Zizi smiled, don't be sad, there is no need to feel inferior if there is a problem here. Yang Zizi pointed at his temple, and suddenly her hand was grabbed tightly by the other person, and the bones were crushed. The pain suddenly hit my heart. Yang Zizi screamed in pain. The pain was so painful that it hurt even the bones, and it spread to the whole body. It seems that this fool is a bit more normal than the last two, and he knows how to protect his own self-esteem. Passers-by cast their accusing glances one after another, but no one dared to step forward to stop him. Yang Zizi struggled desperately, but he couldn't move at all. Maybe his superpower failed at this time again. His current strength was simply the strength of an ant to the young man in front of him. Yang Zizi complained in his heart. If he had known better, he would not have laughed at him. Don't think he is an ignorant fool, but he turned out to be a fool with extremely strong self-esteem. That idiot, little brother. Yang Zizi almost said the wrong thing, but luckily he had the ability to correct it quickly. Let's talk it over if we have something to say. By the way, I have an older brother who is very famous in the medical field. How about I ask him to help you take a look? What are you looking at? He suddenly increased his intensity, his tone full of threats. Should he say it or not? Can you let me go first? Thinking about the fact that she was surrounded by full-level bosses, but she fell into the hands of a fool, she felt very humiliated. The young man glared at her and accidentally saw the small octopus held tightly in Yang Zizi's hand. He thought it was something that gave off the fragrance, but it turned out to be this thing. The young man suddenly let go of Yang Zizi and took the opportunity to the octopus balls. My octopus balls, you robber! Yang Zizi became anxious and rushed towards him, punching and kicking him. The young man looked at him and stunned Yang Zizi. Yang Zizi thought for a while. She was the eldest daughter of the Gu family, the sister of a full-level boss, and the woman of the blood of war. It made no sense to be afraid of him. Why are you staring? If you stare again, I'll dig out your eyeballs. Yang Zizi stretched out his hand to threaten him. The young man ignored her and saw the shopping bag in Yang Zizi's hand. He grabbed it and turned it inside out. I thought it was some delicious food, but I didn't expect it to be Yang Zizi's new underwear. The young man ignorantly picked up his underwear and looked at it carefully. This scene attracted everyone to watch and take pictures. Yang Zizi was so frightened that he grabbed the underwear and felt extremely embarrassed. He was indeed a fool and actually treated underwear as a delicacy. Whose fool is this? Take him home quickly. Yang Zizi couldn't bear it anymore and shouted loudly. It must be that the parents took the three silly children out to play and got lost. After calling for a long time, no one answered him. Instead, he thought she was a fool who just ran away from the hospital. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 93. Chapter 93 Go through the door. Yang Zizi suddenly discovered that the three idiots had turned over his shopping bag, eating everything he could eat, and throwing the inedible ones on the ground and trampling them without caring about his feelings at all. Yang Zizi was furious. He finally went out to play once, but he was so unlucky to meet three fools. Where did her coy physique go? Looking at the three fools, she recognized it. He was a normal person with a good heart and a good heart. He couldn't be the same as 3 silly children. That would make him look small. Yang Zizi turned around and prepared to leave. This day was considered a bad end. I hope the uncle and the others didn't notice. Seeing Yang Zizi walking away, the young man waved his hand, and 2 pretty boys stepped forward to receive the order. Master, check the identity of that human being. Yes, Lord. Yang Zizi sneaked back home, but fortunately, he was not discovered. He was about to climb in through the window. Suddenly he saw Lun Zhenqi sitting on the sofa in the hall, his eyes glowing red. Go through the door. It's over, they must be angry. Even the tone of his voice is frightening. Yang Zizi walked in from the gate with a smile, and pounced on Lun Zhenqi cutely. Husband. Lun Zhenqi ducked aside, and Yang Zizi threw herself directly on the sofa. She looked at Lun Zhenqi with an aggrieved face, seeing that he didn't want to comfort her. He hugged him and acted like a baby like crazy. Honey, hubby, don't be angry. Why don't you make me angry? Do you know how dangerous it is for you to run out alone? Lun Zhenqi really wanted to teach her a lesson, but seeing his innocent face, he finally relented. I know, I won't dare to do it next time, Yang Zizi said with a playful smile, holding up Lun Zhenqi's face and kissing him on the mouth. Kissing and acting coquettishly worked for Lun Zhenqi. His eyes immediately softened when he looked at Yang Zizi. You just want to go out and play, he hugged his child. Well, I haven't been out for almost a week, and it's almost moldy. I miss my classroom, I miss my textbooks, I miss my lovely classmates, Okay, stop talking. Lun Zhenqi stopped her, and if she continued like this, he would be able to talk to irrelevant people. I'll give you whatever you want. Lun Zhenqi scratched his nose lovingly. Since he couldn't escape, it would be useless to hide any longer. At this time, the brothers came in. They discussed together how to hide Yang Zizi's aura. Brothers thought a lot but got past. Hide the smell on your body, just spray more perfume. Facts have proved that it is possible, but if the brothers say no, it is no. Yang Zizi suddenly saw the durian skin left behind by his brothers after eating the durian. Why don't you know how to clean up after you finish eating? The brothers smiled sheepishly and said, Isn't this the god of war? He will take care of it. Yang Zizi was immediately furious. When would their uncle get his turn to help them clean up the garbage? Hey, you guys are missing arms or legs or something, and you dare to ask my family to take out the garbage for you? Only I can control my family, so you all go away. Yes. Seeing that my sister was angry, she nodded quickly in response. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 94. Chapter 94. Durian smells great, why don't you use durian to cover up the smell on me? Yang Zizi said casually. My sister is right, why don't you try durian? Gui Chen said immediately. Unexpectedly, the smell of durian can really resist the smell of poplar seeds. Yang Zizi can finally go out. But the smell of durian is really intolerable to people who don't like durian. Thanks to the smell of durian, her life returned to normal routine. In the morning, Lun Zhenqi sent her to school and then went to the company. The brothers know that their sister doesn't like the feeling of being followed, so they follow her secretly every time. Although the surrounding demonic energy has weakened, we cannot take it lightly, Gui Xiao said to his brothers seriously. After a week, Yang Zizi finally returned to school. He was walking on campus when he suddenly saw a group of boys and girls bullying a weak female classmate. Yang Zizi ran over immediately and saw clearly that the person being bullied was Xiao Yi. Not only did they falsely accuse her, but they also used fists and kicks. It's really unlucky for Fei to be in the same dormitory with you. Your roommate Yang Zizi doesn't look like a good guy at first glance, but he dares to seduce Professor Lun in public. The elder sister who took the lead cursed loudly, and didn't even have the chance to make a move. None of them were spared. Suddenly, the red-haired girl's chin was thrown off by a fist. The red-haired girl was beaten so hard that she sat on the ground. The sound of bones could be heard when her face moved slightly. Boss, the other students were a little scared when they saw this. If you see me in the future, you'd better take a detour, otherwise, I will take you to the ICU. Most of their eldest sisters looked frightened, and the others didn't dare to be arrogant. I won't let you go, just wait for me, the red-haired girl pointed at Yang Zizi and said angrily. I'm always with you. She happened to be bored at this time and was looking for something to do. Zizi, they. Don't worry, these little minions can be stopped in a minute. Canteen. Since FIFA I left, I have nightmares every day. They all say that I harmed FIFA. Xiao Yi lowered his head, blaming himself. With me's brain circuits that make them think they have anything to do with little E. It must be because he and Xiao Yi share a dormitory. They both dislike Yang Zizi, so naturally they dislike her roommate. Don't worry, no one will bully you again. Yang Zizi wiped away his tears. Zizi, I think I've transferred to another school. Why? Little E's eyes are always evasive, and he hesitates and doesn't know how to answer. Looking at Xiao Yi, Yang Zizi seemed to be able to guess a thing or two. In fact, for Xiao Yi, changing to another school might not be a bad thing. At least, he would no longer be bullied by some female classmates because he was in the same dormitory as Yang Zizi. Then when do you plan to transfer? Yang Zizi asked. Little E is gone. He seems to have no friends in this school anymore. Tomorrow, Xiao Yi said, lowering his head. Then I'll send it to you. No, no need. Then take good care of yourself. If someone bullies you, contact me and I will beat him up for you. Little E suddenly cried. She was so kind to her, but she regarded her as her plague god. Thank you, Zizi, it's great to have a good friend like you, Xiao Yi said sincerely. The next day, Xiao Yi transferred to another school and she had no friends except her brothers. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 95. Chapter 95. Let's find someone. Yang Zizi jumped up and down to pick her up from school in Lunzhenqi. On the way, I unexpectedly bumped into the red-haired girl from this morning. A few gangsters behind her were carrying thick iron rods and walking like a stranger, their chins almost raised to the sky. Yang Zizi sneered, not caring at all about the little gangsters in front of him. We can't get into the ICU. Don't even think about leaving after school today. The red-haired girl pulled out a knife and played with the knife in her hand with a cunning smile on her lips. Since you are so concerned about the ICU, I will send you there myself. Yang Zizi's speed was too fast. Before the red-haired girl could give an order to the gangster behind him, Yang Zizi punched the red-haired the left side of her face quickly and accurately. The impact was too strong, causing the red-haired girl to turn red. The girl was thrown several meters away. When the gangsters saw their boss being beaten, they immediately waved the iron rods in their hands and swarmed him. Yang Zizi dismissed it, but fortunately, the superpower came into play at this time. When she was preparing to quickly dodge the iron rod attacks of the gangsters, she suddenly discovered that her superpower failed at this time. Mom, how could it be so sudden? She has only been handsome for a few seconds. If the superpowers have failed, then of course he ran away. Yang Zizi ran all the way. As long as he reached the parking lot, his uncle could kill these minions instantly with a look. However, before he could reach the parking lot, all the gangsters behind him disappeared, and a few rocks fell down. Yang Zizi looked at the stone that had been smashed down for no reason, his face was confused. The person disappeared, but a few stones fell down. It's really incredible. Suddenly, she saw 3 people walking towards her. Aren't those 3 lost fools we met on the street yesterday? Why do they look so majestic now? Silly. Yang Zizi blurted out and called the 3 of them fools. Thinking about it, it seemed not very polite. He smiled and changed his words, "Why are you here?" "We are here to find someone," the pretty guy on the left said with a smile. Maybe he was particularly enthusiastic about her because he gave them half an octopus ball last time. "Yes, yes," the pretty boy on the right also said in agreement. Only the Yandere villain in the middle with a poker face remained motionless. He had eaten all her octopus balls, and he was not as polite as his younger brother. He must be his younger brother, he doesn't know. Yang Zizi snorted coldly at Mu Shenyi. Mu Shenyi's face suddenly became angry. Yang Zizi immediately changed the subject. "Did you just see a few gangsters carrying iron bars?" "We have already killed him," the pretty guy on the left said with a smile, as if this was something worth being proud of. "What?" Yang Zizi was so surprised that he doubted whether this world was real. Why has a lot of inexplicable and even weird things happened in her life since she met a vampire? "Don't be afraid, we won't hurt you, we are just looking for someone." "Then you are?" "We are." Just when the innocent pretty boy was about to reveal his identity, he was scolded by the poker face on the side, "Akwaeben." Yang Zizi almost laughed out loud. "Agieben," being called out by this poker face, there is such a huge contrast in cuteness. Lose money, their family must not be in business, otherwise how could they have chosen this name? End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zai. Chapter 96. Chapter 96 Demon. Did you really not see those people? Where are they? Akwai said, pointing to some stones on the ground. Yang Zizi wouldn't believe a fool's words. How could a person turn into a stone? Even vampires don't have superpowers to turn people into a stone. How could these fools do that? Yang Zizi looked at them as if they were fools. How did you get in? This school has always been very strict and does not allow outsiders to enter. Unless they are leaders, school directors, or other big figures, they will be blocked. Although they look like teenagers of 17 or 18 years old, they are definitely not from their school. That's not easy. We just need to use the simplest magic to go wherever we want, Aben said proudly. Magic? Where is Balala, the little magic fairy? Looks like he was poisoned, but not too deep. Hey, you know they are a few fools, but you are still talking nonsense to them here. Yang Zizi shook her head. For the sake of this person who had been silent but was very good looking, she would send them out. Silly, little fools, let me take you out. Yang Zizi wanted to lead them away. We won't leave until we find the person we're looking for. Then who are you looking for? I'll help you find it. Agieben looked at each other. Angel Muchanai suddenly said solemnly, then raised his eyebrows and asked sarcastically, "Can you find it?" Even after several days of searching with no results, a mere human girl actually uttered arrogant words. Angel. These three fools are really getting more and more outrageous. Sometimes they are magical, and sometimes they are angels. It seems that they have watched too many magic cartoons and are obsessed with them. Yang Zizi really couldn't communicate with them normally, so she might as well call the police station and ask them to take them home. Fortunately, they met her and not a trafficker. Otherwise, there would be no time to talk nonsense here. Yang Zizi was taking out his cell phone when it suddenly exploded. Yang Zizi was so frightened that he immediately threw away his phone. He looked at the mobile phone with smoke on the ground, and then looked at Mu Shenai. He was holding a silver exquisite bow and arrow in his hand, which he placed at his side. Then it turned into a ball of black smoke and slowly disappeared. Yang Zizi was frightened on the spot. Who are you? Yang Zizi was so frightened that he backed away. Devil, Mu Shenai's voice became hoarse and his expression became more terrifying. Mu Shenai suddenly flashed to Yang Zizi's side, raised his chin slightly, lowered his head to his ears, raised his lips and smiled teasingly, "You are the first person to know our identity. If you dare to tell us, not only you, and everyone around you, I will never let you go." She breathed quickly. There were not only vampires in this world, but also demons. Yang Zizi couldn't believe what he saw. The legend turns out to be true. Also, and also, from now on, you will be my master's right-hand man in the human world. Naturally, many of their actions in the human world are not that convenient, so they ask Yang Zizi to do things for them. Devils have had notorious stories from ancient times to the present. There has never been a good demon in history. If he insists on not listening to them, he may make them angry and even initiate killing. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 97. Chapter 97, Reaching a Contract. I just heard them say they were looking for angels. He remembered that Lun Zhenqi had mentioned angels when he told her a bedtime story. The story says that angels and demons are equally powerful. One wants to rule the entire race, while the other wants to protect the entire race. They are inherently opposite. In order to become the ruler of all races in the world, the demons began to attack the angels. After hundreds of years of war, the demons finally eliminated the angels. From then on, there was no longer a kind race of angels in the world. And they are here to find angels this time. Could it be that there are still angels in this world? The story says that there are no more angels in this world. Is this true or false? Whether it is true or not, since the devil has sneaked into the human world, as a human, she must stand up to protect them. Okay, I will help you find angels, but you are not allowed to hurt humans, Yang Zizi said. Stupid human beings dare to negotiate terms with me, Muchanai was a little surprised by the low-level human being in front of him. In their eyes, human beings are greedy creatures who are afraid of death. Unexpectedly, this young girl in front of him, he was actually able to stand in front of him and negotiate terms with him calmly. Haha, it's really interesting. If you don't agree, I won't be able to help you. Shen Yi laughed mockingly at the scene. It was because they didn't understand humans, or they had been too kind to humans recently. Then it will be a pleasure to cooperate. Mu Shanai extended his hand to her. These demons quite follow the local customs. But she, Yang Zizi, didn't give him any face. When he extended his hand, she didn't bother to take it. They were not in a cooperative relationship. At the end of the scene, Shen Yi frowned and laughed, as if he was laughing at himself, but also seemed to be suppressing the anger in his heart. Yang Zizi came to the parking lot and happened to see a car coming. It seems that he has just arrived. Yang Zizi sat in the passenger seat. Yang Zizi, why didn't you answer my call? Lun Zhenqi asked her angrily as soon as she got into the car. Yang Zizi thought of his mobile phone and really wanted to strangle Mu Chanai's neck, but he was only a human and couldn't beat him. My mobile phone fell down the stairs and was broken. Yang Zizi blinked his big eyes and looked at Lun Zhenqi acting cute. Are you injured? No. As long as everything is fine, you can just pick up a new mobile phone when you go home. Lun Zhenqi touched the top of Yang Zizi's head and said with a smile. Yang Zizi nodded obediently. Uncle. Huh, the uncle tilted his head. Is there really a devil in this world? Lun Zhenqi's expression suddenly stiffened for a second, and the hand holding the steering wheel became nervous unconsciously. Then he smiled and asked, why do you ask this so suddenly? Didn't you tell me a bedtime story last time? There were angels and demons in the story. Lun Zhenqi was silent for a long time, and finally stopped the car at a red light and said, that story is true. There are indeed demons and angels in this world, but they became extinct 1,000 years ago. Did the devil kill the angel? Lun Zhenqi thought for a while and nodded. Abominable. A hint of shock flashed through Lun Zhenqi's eyes, and he quickly took Yang Zizi's hand and asked, do you know something? Isn't it? His performance was very obvious. Could it be that Lun Zhenji saw that he had contact with evil demons? Lun Zhenji touched the palm of Yang Zizi's hand, trying to get what he was thinking, but he found nothing. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 98. Chapter 98. Is the story true? No, I just want to know what happened next. Yang Zizi's innocent and cute expression successfully deceived Lun Zhenji. There will be no future. Oh. That's a pity. It would be great if the story continued with the appearance of a last generation angel. In this case, there would still be pure and kind angels in this world. At night, after having put Yang Zizi to sleep, Lun Zhenji went to visit his brother's house in the middle of the night. 6 big boys looked at the sparkling night sky on the rooftop and sat scattered on the ground. It's strange, there's no demonic presence around these days, Goiziogo said worriedly. He didn't know whether they hid Yang Zizi's aura too well, or whether the devil suddenly took other actions. Whether there is one or not, we must be vigilant. Demons hate angels the most. If there is even the slightest breath of angels, they will chase them to the end, Goi Chen Chen said. I still remember the rumor that came out hundreds of years ago, and I don't know where it came from, saying that after seeing an angel, the devil immediately sent the strongest warriors to hunt down the angel. They hunted for 200 years, and they only found out about the rumor in the end. Not really. For 200 years, in order to completely exterminate angels, demons have been hunting down an angel at all costs for 200 years. You can imagine how much they hate angels. Unconsciously, the 6 people talked about 200 years ago. They lived under the same roof but never said a word. Now, because of an ordinary human being, they have a girl to protect together and a common wish. Lun Zhenji, if you were asked to put down your hatred for our sister, would you be willing? Goiziogo suddenly asked. Lun Zhenji suddenly laughed. This has nothing to do with my children. Actually, Goi Chen Chen, who was impulsive by nature, was about to speak when he was stopped by Goiziogo. When my revenge is successful, if you want to take revenge on me, then we will no longer be on the same straight line, Lun Zhenji said indifferently. The atmosphere between the 6 of them began to become tense. They were supposed to be enemies, but because of a human girl, they became people in the same boat. After a long silence, Lun Zhenji disappeared from the rooftop. Brother, why don't you let me tell you that Yang Zizi is our biological sister? Do you think he will believe it? Goiziogo asked rhetorically. And what if he does something bad to his sister if I tell him? I can see that he really loves his sister, Goi Yunyo said slowly. Sometimes, they wanted to be cruel and destroy the relationship between them, but seeing them together, they couldn't bear the smile on Yang Zizi's face. But if Lun Zhenji knew about it, would he still love his sister as much as he does now? This is something they are also worried about. He doesn't love it, but we do, Goi Chen Chen said. The atmosphere began to become solemn again. They were sitting together, but they were worried about the same thing. Lun Zhenji returned to Yang Zizi's room, sat on the edge of the bed, and gently stroked his hair. His eyes were scars. Scars that could not heal on their own. Yang Zizi suddenly turned over, opened his eyes drowsily, saw Lun Zhenji, instantly burst into laughter, and moved his body to get into his arms. Uncle, I love you so much. She got into his arms, and even the words she said were sweet. Lun Zhenji patted his back, lowered his head and left a kiss on her lips, and slowly said, I love you so much too. For some reason, there was bitterness in this sentence. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 99. Chapter 99 Turned into Stone. Since then, the gangsters of the red-haired girl's younger brothers have never appeared again. People on campus are once again panicked. Various rumors have emerged. Some people even think that it is haunted, and all kinds of weird possibilities have been spread. The police intervened in the investigation, but no results were found. Gui Nancheo personally took action, but there was still no result for 2 or 3 days. It seems that things are more difficult this time. Ghost Nan Brown has a hunch that this matter is not only related to humans, but may also be related to other races. It's just that they have never found any evidence to prove their thoughts. Yang Zizi suddenly remembered that Mu Chennai had told him that those people had turned into stone. Did those people really turn into stone and disappear? Mu Chennai is a demon who kills people without blinking an eye, so what he said should be true. Yang Zizi found Mu Chennai. You said you would not harm humans. At the end of the scene, Shen Yi chuckled, how about I help you get rid of the people who want to hurt you? He leaned very close to her, as if to seduce her. Yang Zizi pushed him away, looked him straight in the eyes, and said loudly, change them back. He will never allow demons to harm his own kind. Although humans are small, they are not timid. In the middle of the scene, Shen Yi was driven to anger by Yang Zizi. No one in this world dared to teach him how to do things so loudly. Unexpectedly, one day he would be caught to death by the human girl in front of him. Mu Chennai grabbed her wrist angrily and whispered angrily, do you want to die? Yang Zizi took advantage of the scene where Shen Yi wasn't paying attention and dug into his bag for something. In an instant, he took out the talisman from his bag and slapped it on Mu Chennai's forehead, taking the opportunity to escape from his clutches. Mu Chennai slowly took off the talisman and looked at it with disdain. Human beings are really stupid. You. Yang Zizi was a little scared. It seems that the online learning method doesn't work. In this scene, Shen Yi was so arrogant that this low-level human actually used low-level methods on him. Mu Chennai's hand on his side slowly opened his palm, and a bow and arrow appeared out of thin air in his hand. Is he going to kill him? No, no, he can't die yet, she hasn't lived enough yet. No matter what we do now, we can't run away, and there's no place to escape. Mu Chennai raised his bow and arrow, drew it, and took aim. Yang Zizi suddenly squatted down, held his head and cried loudly, crying as miserably as he could. Surely, Shen Yi caught his attention. He put down his bow and arrow and looked at the human girl curiously. There are so many tricks in front of him. Yang Zizi glanced at Shen Yi's actions through the cracks from time to time. It seemed that crying had worked. Shen Yi suddenly walked towards her with long legs, squatted down, and reached out to touch Yang Zizi's head, but she immediately dodged it. In this world, only one person in the prime of life can touch the top of his head. Mu Chennai didn't pay attention, and smiled sadly, you still want to help me find someone, how can I be willing to kill you? It's okay, I've saved my life. As for those little gangsters, since they have turned into stone, it is impossible to change back. His voice was very magnetic, but it also revealed an evil aura. You. Yang Zizi pointed at him with an angry look. Although these gangsters had nothing to do all day, they would not let the devil punish them on the spot. We humans naturally have our own rules, and it is not the turn of a foreigner to take care of their human affairs. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 100. Chapter 100. This human being is quite arrogant. Mu Chennai angrily grabbed Yang Zizi's wrist and threatened, stupid human being, if you dare to be rude to me again, I will destroy you. He was a demon, but he was actually angry when a human girl pointed his nose at him. The more Yang Zizi wanted to break away from Mu, the tighter Shen Yi's grip became. It seems that you have to be weak to deal with an angry person. If you have a head-on confrontation, she might suffer the loss. Master Devil, do you think the octopus last time were delicious? Yang Zizi asked. So that thing is called octopus balls. Yi didn't react at all, but his two men, Akwe and Aben, became excited and seemed to have more to say. Yi finally spoke, how to do that thing. When these words came out of his mouth, it was indeed a cute contrast. In fact, it can be seen that although the devil in front of him has the face of a Yandere villain, he still has a little bit of kindness in his heart. As long as she puts in a little help, use some snacks to influence him, and maybe demons can still coexist peacefully with humans. I'll take you there now. It's class time now, and the guard is guarding the school gate, so you can't get out at all. However, these are all minor problems, and they are not a problem for Yang Zizi at all. Let's go. Yang Zizi waved his hand, giving a special visual sense of a boss taking three younger brothers to do something big. Can you climb over the wall? Bah! I am a devil. I can climb over the wall, not to mention the world. Isn't what I said is nonsense? They successfully climbed over the wall and left the school gate. It was made from Yang Zizi, and they came over curiously to take a look. Looking at their unfamiliar faces, you can tell that they must know nothing about the high technology of the human world. This is a mobile phone, our communication tool as humans. They looked confused, and Yang Zizi simply stopped explaining. Not only did they not understand, but they also wasted their time. When the car arrived, the three people studied the car with curiosity, which attracted frequent eye rolls from the driver. Finally we arrived at the snack street. Since it was not a holiday or a weekend, there were not many people. There is no need to queue up to eat delicious food. They ate, walked, and drank. Yang Zizi thought that as long as he took good care of this devil, he didn't believe he would be able to live with it. In 2 full hours, the three of them had eaten her 20,000 yuan. Could it be that their stomachs were an abyss? But he didn't feel bad at all, because the money was well spent. When they were tired from shopping, they rested for a while in a dessert shop, and naturally they couldn't avoid eating. I didn't expect you humans to have such abundant food, Mu Shinai said. No, what you eat is only 1/10,000th, Yang Zizi said proudly. Then what shall we eat tomorrow? Aben's mouth watered as he spoke. Hey, can you wipe your saliva first? Yang Zizi looked at Aben with disgust. Aben smiled stupidly. Since we are all friends now, let's introduce each other. You two don't need it, Yang Zizi said with a double standard. My name is Yang Zizi, and I am a human girl who has lived for 17 years. And let me clarify here that we humans are not as greedy as you think. We humans are very brave, and we have also created many things. It's a miracle. Yang Zizi patted his chest and said proudly. At the end of the scene, Shenyi laughed unconsciously. This human being is quite arrogant. End of this chapter.